Hello. Hello. Happy to catch this live conversation. Welcome. Hello, butterfly effect. Butterfly is like my favorite. I have a big butterfly on the back, like the center of my back. I love butterflies. Welcome, welcome, hello. Happy Friday night live, you guys. Hello. You know the rules. Make sure you say hello in the chat if you are catching the replay. Thank you so much. Welcome. My name is Tracy Collins, and I go live every Friday night. And here, hey girl, hey. Hey girl, hey. And here is where we discuss, or I discuss, all things business, wellness, and my life here in Mexico. So thank you guys so much for joining here. And tonight, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is pricing yourself at value. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of history of why, for me, it's a favorite subject of mine and why I teach pricing yourself at value. So when I work with my business coaching clients and when I have over the years, what's up, D? When I have over the years, one of the hardest things is, hey, mom, we can start. Mom is in the house. Oh, Wanda is here. One of the things that I have noticed is that women have a very difficult time pricing themselves at value. So, meaning what they bring to the table from an educational standpoint, experience, and personal lived experience. We can combine all of that and understand how to price ourselves for what we are worth and times two with tax. And then I can give you some kind of like numeric equation to break it down at the end, but I'm going to give you 9 key tips about how to begin to price yourself at value. So welcome Friday Night Live. What's up, y'all? Make sure you hit the like button. And in order to comment, you got to be subscribed. So thank you to my subscribers because I turned that feature on. So thank you to YouTube for that feature. But anyway, let's get started because I got friends coming over. Alan, you coming over afterwards? Are you coming over? I'm putting you on the spot. I have friends coming over. Honey made a sweet potato pie. So like they're coming over to have some sweet potato pie and this hella good. It's like, I'm just surprised. All right, y'all. Not surprised, but just how somebody can come out of the gate knowing how to bake well. Of course. Of course. D, you done moved back to the States at this point. That's just what we determine. That's just what we determine. So please like and share this live, please. And this is an important subject matter for lots of reasons. But the number one reason why I see that this is a struggle for women is because it's a lack of value. It's a lack of seeing themselves in a value position. She abandoned us. It's a lack of value. So let me explain what I mean by that. So for me, one of the number one reasons why I feel that women, especially Black women, have a difficult time charging for their services is because they don't see what they do as valuable or valuable enough. Okay, so first we must work on bringing up our own self worth and self value, how we see ourselves, right? One of my favorite exercises is mirror work. And I always say I can teach a whole class on mirror work. I've yet to do so, but I definitely have the whole curriculum as far as how to teach it and what value it would bring and how it elevates somebody's life. But understanding your value, meaning like you have to, number one, do your market research and understand what people in your industry, what professionals in your industry are charging. And I'll get into that in a little bit later. But when we talk about self-worth and self-value, is how do you see yourself? What position do you hold in your own personal life? What do you proudly take up space knowing that you deserve to be in rooms and places and sitting at the table or creating a table and then having them come to you? Like, how do you see yourself as far as the value that you are and the value that you bring? One of the things that you guys have heard me say numerous of times is I know people who won't get out of the bed for less than $10,000 a month. I mean, $10,000 a gig. And I know white men just to sit and have their professional air quote, expertise, they're charging a minimum of $60,000. So when we talk about, hey, Carol, when we talk about understanding your value is like, first of all, time is currency, right? And if you have to put in time to meet with somebody, bring your level of expertise to the table, then you need to be charging for that, right? So let's get into some ways that we can start increasing our personal value. One is understanding, I always say this, that everything we do should be pleasurable. Everything that we experience should be pleasurable. And the reason why I'm so fixated on pleasure is because when we understand that pleasure is our birthright and abundance is our birthright and ease is our birthright. Let me talk about ease for a quick second. It's not just about like, oh, I want my life to be easy, but it's also, I want my business efforts to be easy, right? I want what I put out there, any product or service or any offers that I have, for my ideal client to find me easily. So we are not constantly pushing. It's one thing to market and understanding marketing, but that's not what this live is about. But we want to make sure that we are targeting our ideal clientele, so that way when we drop a product and or service, it is easy for them to come to us and understand the value that we bring. But first, there are some things that have to substantiate our value. All right. All right, so let's get into it. So number one, you always want to make sure that whatever your rate is, you can say it confidently in the mirror without flinching. That's a hard one for people, believe it or not. I am sweating. I don't know why I'm sweating under my glasses. But that is a hard one for people, is to be able to quote their price in the mirror without flinching, right? Yeah. So for me, I'm just going to give you guys a case in point. For me, when I do public speaking events, so not only is my hourly rate now $7,500 an hour, but you also have to pay for my travel and accommodations and also my travel to and from the venue, right? So $7,500, between 5,000 and 20,000 is the average speaker rate. But y'all see how I didn't flinch when saying that? It's because I've had years of practice, but I also understand my value and what I bring to the table. Okay, so this is what I mean, saying it without flinching. And when we do that, we understand what we bring to the table and we're speaking with confidence when we negotiate our services. Now, I have an interesting relationship with negotiating, because for me, this is just for Tracy. I do not negotiate with the Black women their rates, simply because I don't want another Black woman or anybody for that matter negotiating my rate with them. Okay, if I decide to offer you a special discounted rate, that is my decision, but I'm not being asked for it. Okay. So let's get into other ways, making sure that you are always seeking pleasure in your life, meaning whatever it is you eat, however you look in the mirror, what drapes your skin, however you smell, how you speak to yourself, it is always kind. It always feels good. It is always affirming, right? So making sure that in everything we do, we are seeking pleasure and abundance in our life. And the reason why this is so important, vitally important, even like your words of affirmation or your mantras or things that you may listen to, it is important and imperative that you constantly pour value into you. That way, if somebody comes to you with some BS, it's like you will not settle for it, because that's not how you treat yourself. When we increase our standard of living and our standard of how we treat ourselves and our standard of what we allow, and this is, I don't believe in, this is our, it's like standards, but also, our non-negotiables, right? When we get those embedded into our core, it makes it so much easier to be able to command what you are worth. So I hope that makes sense. Listening while I drive. Okay, pay attention to the road, Elwanda. What are you doing? Pay attention to the road. Why are you typing? Okay. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you put into place some value systems in your day-to-day that will increase how you look at yourself. And once we get that, then it gets easier because everything that we do, everything that we seek should become about pleasure, and it should be also about abundance. All right. So let's also move back to the top because I really thought that was a really key point, and I wanted to start off with that. Black women, unfortunately, because of the way society has treated us, yeah, the pleasure principle, the way society has treated us and what we have been told, and when we were sold here, that we were to work for free. One of my greatest pet peeves is Black women expecting other Black women to work for free. Why we do that to each other, right? Why do you expect this Black woman with this level of expertise in whatever said field should be giving you her information and knowledge for free? This is something that she's invested in from a monetary standpoint, from a time aspect, and an energetic standpoint. There are some sacrifices that went into the value that she is pouring into you, right? So there is a fee associated with that, times tax, times your cost of living, times two. Okay. So, understanding your worth, assessing your skills and your experience, make a list. And I implore you guys right now. Y'all always know I got a piece of paper and a pen right next to me on my desk, always, because I'm always jotting down notes. But I implore you right now to write down everything, every single accomplishment that you have to date, every single accomplishment. And you can do it by decade, you can do it by year, you can start now and go backwards. But I want you to write down every single accomplishment that you have made. And the reason for this is because it is imperative that you understand the value that you bring. Sometimes we don't believe it until we see it. And then there is a great correlation between writing something down and the brain and how we start to memorize and gets embedded into our system and our psyche. So with that being said, make sure that you take this moment. If you get up, go get a pen and a piece of paper and come back. And I want you guys to start writing down every single accomplishment that you have made. I don't care how small, I don't care how big, right? And then I want you to look at that over the course of time, because sometimes we also need to remind ourselves what our worth is. Okay. The next thing is doing your market research. Do your research. Alan and I had a great discussion earlier this week, but one of the things that she and I have in common, and people who are in business have in common, is that we are forever a student. I am always a student of my craft, always. Meaning I'm always seeking to learn, and not just always learn for free. Granted, there's a lot of great information that is out there, via YouTube or, via just the internet. However, I will pay for information. And the reason for this is because I understand the value that it would bring to myself. Hence, the value that I bring coming into rooms, negotiating agreements, meaning like how I structure an agreement, not necessarily negotiating what somebody is seeing, but how I structure my own proposals and agreements. But then also, what I bring to my clients. So for me, it is imperative to always make my clients feel that they have never paid enough in working with me. Always. And so in doing so, I have to understand, number one, how am I continuing to pour value into me? Value isn't just about always seeking pleasure, but how am I adding to my level of information and education in my said industry? Meaning I'm always studying. I'm always studying how people move. And I'm a great listener. I listen when you don't think I'm listening, which is interesting because I will block my family out. Meaning I will block the kids out. I'll sometimes block Honey out, but don't tell her, but she probably already knows. But other shit, I'm paying attention to how people move. And the reason why is because not to duplicate what they're doing, it's like, how can I apply said technique to what I offer my brand and also make it better? How can I make it applicable to my services and offers for my clients? Right? Okay. The next thing is building a strong personal brand. People be sleeping on this. Why are you sleeping on branding yourself and or your business? I don't understand that. When you brand yourself and or your business, people know who you are, what you are, because your brand is constantly in their face. Meaning, like, you have to always consistently show up when you don't feel like it. Because sometimes I don't feel like coming here on every Friday night, but I show up because of my commitment. I show up because I enjoy interacting with you guys, and you guys get to understand what it's like in my brain and how I work, and you get to see my personality firsthand. But also, it's like there's a level of consistency that you guys can bet on for me. So, always showing up, building your personal brand, having a strong online presence. Today is 2024. You'll be surprised how many people will say, well, I'm in business, but I don't have a website. Or I'm in business, but I'm not communicating or growing, with my audience or growing my audience, right? Or I'm in business, but to me that's not business, because it's much harder to convince people to buy into your product and or service. But when you do, because you put that necessary time in, guess what happens? Then you have a customer and or client for life, as long as you remain consistent and you continue to add value to your product or service, whatever it is that they are seeking from you. I hope this is making sense. What is it? Yeah. Now, let me tell you the difference between a business and a hobby. A hobby is something that you do and don't get paid for. So if you're okay with giving free information and value exchange for nothing, then that's on you. But business is transactional. It is. It is transactional. So in that transaction, how are you going to show that I value what you bring to the table, what you're offering me, how you're enhancing my product, brand, business, or service? Okay. Now, another thing is understanding how networking, I always say this, I probably have never said this to you guys, but old school networking never goes out of style. Old school, how you doing? My name is. And in that, you don't have the attitude of what's in it for me. Right. One of the surefire ways to get a mentor or become not get a mentee or an intern, if you are somebody who is seeking that level of, I really like what you bring to the table, what you do, and I would love to work with you. This is what I can bring to the table, and not ask for anything else. But you extend your value. And people who are on that level of needing your service and are open to taking in a mentee or an intern will appreciate that. Meaning, like, for what would happen for me if somebody said, Tracy, I'm great at editing videos, I just want to work with you in how I can level up my business and or service, and in exchange, I'll edit your videos for you. This is the reason why I go live, is because I don't like editing videos. That is not my area of expertise, nor that's not where I want to spend my energy, right? So when people do that, then guess what? It's like, okay, they're bringing value. And then in just mere working with me, they're willing to learn along the way. So networking, old school networking never goes out of style. I don't care how much social media, and people think I'm gonna put a post up. This kills me. They think I'm gonna put a post up and my clients are gonna find me. No, they're not. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to nurture your audience with constant value before they press, I'm gonna work with them. Before they press, I'm going to get this digital download. Before they press, I want to, book a consultation with you. It is because you have spent time pouring into them and they understand the value that you bring to the table. Okay. The next thing is understanding your pitch. So what is it that you do? Right? What is it? So for me as a business strategist, I help businesses either scale up or scale out. And that means, like, I will help you build your business and or brand from a monetization standpoint, from branding to marketing, and then also monetization, right? How, and my job as a business strategist is to look at your business, to hear what you have to say, look at you from a goal aspect, and now taking you where you are to that level, and making sure that we're implementing procedures and policies and systems along the way that are going to amplify not only your exposure, business, and brand, but it'll also attract your ideal customer and or client. So that was a very long elevator speech, but hone in on your elevator pitch. Know what your elevator pitch is. So people are like, Tracy, how did you get so passionate about business? So the classes that I excelled in when I went to culinary school, yes, I went to culinary school for those of y'all who didn't know, but it's business. I failed wine because I don't drink, but I excelled in business. Another thing is I actually have certifications in women-owned businesses. So Women's Initiative for Self-Employment was a program that I took back in Oakland. This was well before I even moved to Atlanta, and I received a certification in women-owned businesses. So when I talk about, like, I understand women, and then I learned the art of a good old contract because I love real estate. And so I understand contracts and I love contracts. So when we talk about like pouring into and understanding your value proposition and getting your pitch together, you have to know where to pull all of that expertise from that you have and bring to the table, and understand how to leverage that. You love the child accounting in high school of all places. Okay. Okay. I have my notes over here to the side, y'all. Hold on. Testimonials. I love testimonials. I have some testimonials on my website. I have others, and I've had others in other places. But I love testimonials simply because those are not your words. I can curate my website to say whatever it is that I wanted to say. But when somebody is giving you a testimonial, those are their words about having an experience with you as a professional and how you enhance their situation. So now y'all have got your list together of your accomplishments. Now I want you to make a list of people that you can go back to that you have supported and say, you know what, I am growing my business and brand, making sure that I need to make my social presence a little bit stronger. Can you please, or do you mind just writing me a 2 to 3 sentence, more if you choose to, but at least 2 to 3 sentences about your experience in working with me? And I would love for it to live on my website. Let me show you all mine. I just have a few. Where is it? Here it is. So in the chat, I'll put that link there. So those are just a few testimonials that I have on my website. Have those live, and you can also make sure that you do your Google business page. You can also do a Yelp page, but make sure that you have testimonials, because those are other people's words. And unfortunately, the way the human brain works is people don't want to buy into something that other people haven't bought into first. Okay. The next thing is set clear and competitive prices. This is where I think it's really important to understand the market and the industry that you're in. Right? I don't care what you do for a living, have a certification, a something behind you to substantiate what it is that you are offering to your clients. As Black women, we do not get the grace that our white counterparts do without some kind of cert or something behind us. And it's unfortunate, but it is the reality. It is unfortunate, but it is the reality. So, and me, because I've worked with so many Black women entrepreneurs, so many, that is the reason why they came and they sought certification, is because they understood the value in what it is that was needed and what they needed to get under their belt. And we don't get the grace. We don't get the grace. Our images are extremely important online. How we present ourselves on social media is extremely important online. And then also, Why should I pay? Why should I pay you? What credentials do you have? And it's the sad truth. So you can go out there and see how it works for you, but I guarantee you'll make more money with some kind of paperwork to substantiate that. Okay, the next one. So in setting competitive prices, know what your target demographic and I'm sorry, what your target market, the rates are. And I don't ever say price yourself low or price yourself too high. It is really about pricing yourself competitively right there in the middle. Make sure you have clear definitions of your services and products. People do not read. People don't read. If you have a website that is wordy, one of the things like I always audit my clients' websites. And the reason why I do that is because I'm looking at it from a customer standpoint and then also a professional lens. But people are not going to pay you just because you have a lot of words on your website. Believe it or not, people are into images, big images on websites, clear images on websites with high resolution. And then also they want to not have too many words. So in that, in your offers that are on your website, make sure it is direct and to the point and even bullet pointed. Don't ever the biggest way to make sure that your product and or service is sold is it's like you want to dumb down your audience. Not saying that your audience isn't smart, but it's like you just want to make it easier for them to press go. Okay. Have tiered pricing. I think tiered pricing is crucial. Have something that's of lower value all the way up to a higher ticket item. Like for me, if you wanted to work with me privately, it is going to be more, but if you want to work with me in a group coaching setting, it is going to be less, right? Or maybe you're not ready for either, but you can purchase a digital download or a digital product. And baby, wait till y'all see the digital product I have coming out. When I tell you it is extremely comprehensive. Not only that, it will teach you how to make money on social media in all sectors and also faceless. So I'm excited about that comprehensive digital product that I am dropping, and I will be dropping it. I'll definitely be dropping it before the summit. Also, I guess I got a whole bunch of stuff coming up that I'm excited about. Okay, anyway, but have tiered pricing. So have different levels of products and services that support your business and that offer value to your clientele. The next one is knowing your bottom line, which to me means your bottom dollar, right? And so like, Tracy, well, how do I get to my bottom dollar? I'm about to tell you how. I'm about to tell you how. So I want you to take what your monthly overhead is. I'm actually giving y'all a math problem. Whatever your monthly overhead is. So just write a round up number. So if your monthly overhead is, I don't know, $25.99, round it up to $3,000. I want you to add tax. And then I want you to times 2. That is your bottom dollar. That is your bottom dollar. So if you are offering coaching services, that bottom dollar should be your base rate. However, you break up that base rate so your client can afford it to pay, like your ideal client, they can either pay in full or there's 3-month option, 6-month option, 9, 12, however long you choose to work with them, but they have payment options. However you do, but that is the bottom. Now you can scale up from there. And how you scale up and why you scale up is the credentials and the lived experience and the professional experience. And then we're also going to get into media validation experience that you bring to the table. Okay. The next one is invest in continuous learning. Always invest in learning. Don't sleep on this. Don't always invest in learning. When I tell you I've invested in shit and I'm like, why am I in here? And they actually told me this, okay, Tracy, this is not the level that you need to be investing in. You need to be investing in higher forms of information and education for you. One of my pet peeves is like, I don't ever want to feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. That's the reason why I love our friend group the way that I do, is because to me, I don't feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. Am I smart? Absolutely. Do I add value? Absolutely. And do I add value in areas that others don't? Absolutely. But so do they. And so I'm always learning, which is the beauty of it. So you want to put yourself in position of always learning. Invest in continuous mentorship, coaching. You want somebody who has had more experience than you and to help you elevate their business or product or service or whatever it is, right? The next thing is making sure that you are leveraging networking and joining supportive groups. Join groups, join meetups, create your own, create your own space. If you don't see the kind of meetup that you want, or a group that's specific to whatever your need is, then to me that is a place where you have recognized a void and now you can fill it. Your job as a business owner is to make sure that you recognize a problem and you can fix it. If you are not skilled at recognizing where a gap is, then you need to get skilled in it. This is how you continue to add value to your industry. And when I tell you, this will set you apart. This will put you in a position of leadership. That is, for me, why I love working with women in leadership, is because they understand a lot more of hierarchy and structure and value and what they bring to the table. So when you start positioning yourself as a leader in your industry, it is because you are leading where you see a void, because you are now filling that void and you are there speaking to that demographic. Because if you have noticed that void, then somebody else has also noticed the same void. Okay, so it's your job to fill that void. If you are interested in being a successful, impactful business person, then you have to get skilled at noticing where there are voids in your industry. Okay. And the next one, and I'm going to get to some questions, is social media and media. Let's talk about media. So the link that I dropped, like that, I just, no, that's not the link. I want to show you. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to see firsthand what I'm talking about. Media is extremely important. So here's my personal website. And those aren't even all of the features. As a matter of fact, I have to put the Griot listed me recently as one of the top influential women, Black women in health and wellness not that long ago. I didn't even add that there. But if you look on my website, you will see featured in. Add that to your website. Add that. I don't care if your website is a landing page, add it. Why that is so important? Because the media recognition is another way of validation of what it is you bring to the table, your skill set, what you offer. So leverage it, show it off, give thanks publicly, right? Anything that has your business and or name in it. From a media aspect, I have another one, a private, not a private, but an interview that I did recently that should be coming out in it's an international publication. So when that drops, guess what I'm doing? I'm also going to add that there to my website. I'm going to shout it out on social media, because that is somebody substantiating what it is that you do. So I don't care if it's a blog. I don't care. You just want to make sure that you recognize it and give thanks publicly for that public acknowledgement. Also, Start seeking out speaking gigs. Start, I don't care how long it takes, everybody has a story in them. Start jotting down notes, writing for your book. When you have a book and when you start speaking publicly, you can charge more, especially if you have a book. So if for people who are looking to get into the public speaking sector, like such as me, and I've always spoke publicly, but now it's like being hired to speak publicly is different. And so with that being said, I got a whole contract for that. This is why I love working with my clients, because I share my documents with them so they can leverage their own business or brand. But anyway, make sure that people know that. I place that here most of the time because I actually forget it's there. But so other people, when I'm in meetings, they can see like, oh, wait a minute, you have a book? Okay. Any kind of book. Any kind of book. Start with ebooks. I think ebooks are fantastic. But then you want to take your whatever story it is that you are trying to tell. If it's information and education, there are different realms and genres that books fall under. So you want to make sure, if you want to get, as an author, a published author, then you have to start there and seeking out. Sometimes people write their own stories, or whatever it is they're trying to convey. And then sometimes people hire ghostwriters, whatever works for you. My book was a 2-year process. So it's not an easy undertaking. Please don't think it is. But again, that's what starts to separate you from everybody else. It starts to substantiate, validate, and it also adds the zeros on what you can command. And then how you can embed certain things into your contracts to add more value to what it is that you bring to set events. I'm just going to leave that there. Okay. So the 9 things are: number 1, self-care, building confidence. If you have an issue commanding what it is, not commanding, but just speaking what it is what your rate is, then you need to work on that. Because if you don't believe yourself, then nobody else does. They're not. Okay. If you don't feel that you're deserving of it, it's not going to come your way. One of the things that I do, it's not even a secret, but I have a gratitude journal right next to my bed. And in there, I write everything that I'm grateful for. And I do that because I want to also let universe know, like, okay, creator, I'm grateful for everything that I have now and everything that is to come. I also believe that I'm not going to work too hard, because whatever's meant to be mine will be mine. I got requested for a speaking engagement. That's for the latter part of this year. And I sent them my bottom number. And I was like, they're not going to come back. When I tell you they came back, and I was like, oh. I said, okay, now Tracy, you got to show up. And it is because they understand the value that is brought to the table. And I'm honored for that. So you always want to make sure that you also come from a place of being honored, because people don't have to. People don't have to patronize you. People don't have to buy your stuff. People don't have to book an appointment with you. People ain't got with you. They don't. So when people do, always make them feel that they didn't pay enough to encounter you. That is my rule of thumb. The next thing is understanding your worth, meaning like assessing your skill set. So that list that you guys wrote of all of your accomplishments, assessing your skill set, do your market research, understand how to create a personal brand, how to build a personal brand, right? Have an online presence that is strong. Make sure your website is clean. Network strategically. A lot of times people don't think that they have to network up. For me, I actually like networking in a lateral sense, meaning for people who are, have the same kind of, market, maybe a little bit more experience than me, even a little bit less. I love the lateral network. Now you can also network up, but don't sleep on that. Let's leverage where we are with our peers. Communicate. Get your pitch together and get it together with ease and confidence. Say it in the mirror over and over and over again without flinching. Because if you don't believe it, nobody else will. Make sure your prices are competitive, that your offers are simple, and that they are clear. People think that if I offer way more, then it's going to attract way more people. And it's the opposite for business. It's about the quality of your offer, attracting your ideal customer and or client. For me, it is not about quantity. I mean, it's not about quantity. It is about quality. I would rather have 5 high value ticket clients a year than 100 low value, because that means I'm working more, because what I'm pouring in is just going to be pretty much the same. And people don't understand there's a lot of energetic exchange that goes to building your brand and making sure that you are true to your brand and that it is moving in the direction that you want it to. So when your customer and or client finds you, they understand the value of their product or service that they're getting from you. Okay. Know your bottom line. Know your bottom line, which to me is your bottom dollar. I said take your monthly overhead times tax times 2, plus tax times 2. That is your base rate. You can scale up from there. But when you scale up, you have to make sure that you're doing your market research. You also have to make sure that you understand. I got your questions. Give me, what's the equation again? There you go. There you go. The equation again. It is take your monthly overhead times tax, then times 2, whatever that is. That's your bottom dollar. And sometimes people, and that's what I'm talking about for people working with you one-on-one. Now, if you can offer group coaching services, you can offer group services, you can offer different things. But if people want to experience you on a one-on-one basis, that's a price with that. Okay. Invest in continuous learning, coaching, mentorship, online programs, making sure that you are investing in continuation of your education. And social media, and making sure that your media exposure is out there front and center, if you have any. And if you don't, make sure that you are consistent so that you put something out there, a product and or service, you show up, you nurture your audience, because you never know who knows whom. You never know who knows whom. So you want to make sure that you are constantly nurturing your audience. And trust me when I tell you those features will come. I promise you those features will come. I promise you. Okay, so I'm going to get to some questions. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Thank you for answering that. So for me, I'm going to drop the business workshop that is coming up at the end of the month. That is 5 days of working with me in a group setting to increase your business. I love business. I can talk business all day. I love business strategy, structure, and development. I love helping people get to the next level. And I took what y'all said and I made it, like I said, it is a series, a 5-day workday, 5-day series. Sorry, you guys. Okay. Now, any questions? What did I say? Okay, question. Can you break down the equation and how it affects pricing? It depends on what it is your industry is too. It depends on meaning that's what we need to make monthly times 2. It also depends on your industry. But yes, if somebody wants to experience you on a one-on-one basis, they should absolutely be paying that. Okay. If you choose to give them a break or a discount, that is solely on you. But we're talking about value exchange. At the end of the day, this is about value exchange, right? Um, how to approach media now. How to approach media now. I was featured, okay. I was featured years ago for what you did with more rare, and now I feel at a loss. So, the best way to get media attention now is when you put up a post. So, you have a presence on social media. Now you're tagging said media outlet in your post. Doesn't mean they're going to see it, but you are making sure that they're tagged in it to see it. Okay? Keep doing that. Keep doing that. And it doesn't matter how old things are. Now, I will say this, the way media works and industries work is about what it is that you do now. What are you doing now? That's what we care about. What are you doing now? This is why nurturing your audience is crucial. This is why showing up is crucial, because you never know who knows whom. And that's another thing. Consistency is always key. Consistency is always key. People are looking and paying attention even when they don't like it, which is sad. People, you can put a post up and nobody will like it, but they watching. Be consistent. And that is another area. And thank you for sharing that. And that's very transparent. That is one of the hardest things that people have, aside from understanding how to price their product or service, is being consistent with their marketing efforts, being consistent with their branding efforts, being consistent in just showing up and nurturing their audience. And how do you nurture your audience? I'm gonna give y'all another one. And I'll keep saying this, is create an email list, and you send out emails once or twice a week, or you can send them out on certain days, but make sure that your days are titled. Like for me, Mondays are marketing Mondays. It's like if I send something to my database, it is about marketing on Mondays. So it's always going to be about business, always. Wednesday is always about wellness Wednesday. Friday, sure shit, always going to be about Friday Night Live. If I drop something in between there, that's going to be on me. But then I also don't want to tire my audience out, which gets kind of tricky. Another thing that you can implement is text messaging, because people will open their text messages before they open their emails. A lot of people don't read their emails. A lot of emails get sent to spam. So making sure that you can reach your audience with showing up, being consistent. Making sure I got all the questions. I'm excited, y'all, I am excited. I think I'm going through all the questions. Hold on, you guys. Oh, thank you. I try. Um, uh, it is worse when it's another Black woman who wants you to work for free. And I see it time and time again. I do. I see it time and time again. And it's extremely unfortunate that we would put that on another Black woman. We don't get grace. And it's imperative that when you work with Black women, that you honor that, because you have no idea what her sacrifice has been to get to where she is. Our sacrifice is great. And oftentimes we don't feel that we can charge what we deserve, when the most mediocre white man with half the information, education, and lived experience can charge quadruple just because of the skin and the gender that he is. The skin that he's wrapped in and the gender that he is. Okay? So take that mediocre white man approach, or don't show up. And let me say this, it's really honestly, you guys, about attracting the ideal customer and our client. It's about value. Not only do your clients or your customers understand the value that you bring, but they are also respected. So it's a value exchange. Okay. All right, y'all. That's all I got. I ain't got no more. Ain't got no more. I hope this was beneficial. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys learned something that you guys can apply to your brand, your business, and your marketing efforts. There's more that goes into each of those, and that is, if you want more, join the Business Insight Workshop that's happening at the end of the month, and we're going to get, or I'm going to get into strategic ways to grow your brand and business, and how you can monetize on certain skill sets. All right. I thank y'all for being here and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining. Please be sure to like this video. Please be sure to like this video. Share it with somebody. If you found value in it, don't hesitate to share. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for being my community, because you are. And I appreciate you so much. So make sure y'all look at that list of accomplishments that you guys have. And that is a part of your affirmations now. That is a part of you affirming yourself. That is a part of you knowing that you are the shit. That is a part of knowing that when you step into a room, folks are honored to experience you. When I tell you I actually think that about myself, like I do. It's like no, you're honored to experience me. And I want the same for you. All right. So have a great weekend, you guys. And thank you guys for answering the poll when I drop what we should talk about, because I always want to bring value and I want to make sure that the messaging is something that you guys want. Pay attention to those digital products I'm about to drop. I'm so excited. I've been working hard all week with them. All week. And yeah. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.